Bhotani Mzwekhaya siyanibingelela Dumelang Absheni Demachironi Thobelang yinda sizowenza enye video futhi ebaluleke kakhulu namhlanje but sibonge futhi ngomsebenzi wenu ukuthi ni support nibhekelele umsebenzi siwenzayo sithanda kakhulu lonto sifuna nje ukudlulisa amazwi wokubulela sicela ke niqhubeke please subscribe like comment in the comment section sitshele nje ukuthi if like there's something that you want to address you can do that. Yeah, so today we're back. We want to do a video which I think it is also important. Ibaluleke kakhulu especially kwisikhathi esiphila kuso namhlanje. Though lento lenzeka kakhulukazi in the West, actually like Christianity is currently going down in terms of numbers. People are leaving the church. What is currently happening on this other side, like Africa, according to our stats, Christianity but is growing, like Africa. Same as Islam also now like it is growing. In fact, Lama religions, they are some to a large extent flourishing on the African soil. So in the corner is that within the African context, there is groups of people that are rising and are questioning Christianity since the years of independence, in the 50s, and that has grown, criticizing Christianity, and some are even pushing for the rejection of your Christianity. There are papers, there are books, there are YouTube videos, there are many other things that are being done in which people are being encouraged to reject the Christian faith, because you find that many Africans see Christianity as a problem. Even where we are, yesterday I was just at church. Churches are empty, you find mostly these women. Men, you don't find them there, and when you speak to them in the streets, they will always point out the fact that Christianity is a problem. And now we just want to address that. In the Sitolayo is that there's this guy Dr. Ray Hagen. We have done a video about him. I think a video was about African church fathers. If you can check in our YouTube channel, you will find that video on African church fathers, where we do address some of the critiques of that man on Christianity. Dr. Ray Hagen said this, that Christianity is a yoke of indoctrination and hypocrisy. Christianity is the yoke of indoctrination and hypocrisy. Dr. Chancellor Williams, who wrote a book, The Destruction of Black Civilization, a book that I will encourage that you go and read. It's a very brilliant book about the civilizations of Africa prior and after the coming of the Europeans. Dr. Chancellor Williams said that Christianity was used to spread a hidden agenda. Christianity was used to spread a hidden agenda of conquest and the imposition of Western values to African people. And Dr. Ben, all of these guys are sort of like prominent figures within the conscious community, or the Afrocentric movement. Dr. Ben said that when your God and Savior looks like your enslavers and oppressors, you become the principal agent in your own destruction. And he was pointing to the Christian faith remembering that with the white Jesus image, and all those kind of things, we still have them. If you can visit a Roman Catholic church, Anglican church, and all that, even in some books, you still have this white Jesus image. And, even you find, other black people even bowing to those images, bowing to this, those statues, Mary, praying, sort of like viewing them as if they are mediating between them and God. So you have all of this. So now the question, is Christianity a problem? Is Christianity a problem? Is Christianity an agent towards the destruction of Africa? Is Christianity responsible in indoctrinating Africans into hating their identity, because those things, they did happen? Is Christianity a problem? The answer to that, Christianity is not a problem, but Eurocentric Christianity is the problem. Let me repeat that. Eurocentric Christianity is the problem in Africa. Christianity is not a problem, but Eurocentric Christianity is the problem. Alice, one of the most influential activists, probably, like I think it was in the 1800s here in South Africa, Alice Kinloch, said that during her time, there were very few good missionaries. Most missionaries, she viewed them as working in support of the oppression of black people. And you find this in the book written by Tembeka Ngcokaitobi on The Land is Ours. And you also find that Julius Cobbing wrote a paper where he refuted the myth of the Mfecane War, what some scholars call the Shaka Wars, which they believe that there was a time where Shaka, was conquering kingdoms, and he set everyone running away and all those kind of things. So he refutes and in fact proves, the falsehood of that claim. Julius Cobbin showed that ama missionaries ngalesa sikhathi, ngalela xesha kanakweli, into ayenza ama missionaries uthi like babe leader, some of these missionaries babe leader slave raiding armies. They were leading slave raiding armies. Bafike bantshontsha abantwana, babulala amadoda, na bantshontshe nabomama, kureyitsha abantwana, kureyitsha omama, kubulawa amadoda. You find amanye in those slave raiding armies that were led by missionaries, who Julius Cobbing reveals in that paper of his. Advocate Tembeka Ngcokaitobi, in the book yakhe The Land is Ours, uveza ukuthi that acceptance of colonial education and Christianity implied the negation of African values, beliefs, and way of life. So to many people who accepted, this colonial logic, to many people who accepted colonial education and this Eurocentric Christianity, this meant the rejection of, African values, beliefs, and way of life. So all of what these people were dealing with was not Christianity. What they were dealing with was this Eurocentric Christianity in Africa. This Eurocentric Christianity we did talk about like a bit in our last video. I think it was on the need to Africanize Christianity. This Eurocentric Christianity, which is a Christianity which was contextualized within the European context and then imposed, on the African context with the help of colonialism, with the help of violence, you see. So it is that Christianity which is a problem. It is that Christianity which even today, when you read, these books, mostly written by these Western scholars, uzothola ukuthi iningi lale incwadi liveza abelungu, like yonke imisebenzi emihle yabelungu i-theology yabo yonke lonto ayikho into eshoyo ngabantu abamnyama. We are treated as if we have never contributed anything to the Christian faith. And this is what Pastor Jerome Gay wrote a book, the whitewashing of Christianity, uyayiveza lonto, where even scholars, Christian scholars, theologians who were black, they have been whitewashed by these guys, and they wanted to present themselves as if they were the ones, doing all the work of defending Christianity and yabona yonke lonto. This is part of this Eurocentric Christianity. And also you find that mangabe uza like esontweni, and then you start talking about, okay, you know what, let us sort of like take certain practices within the African culture and diswafakela esontweni. You get all kinds of objections, because these Western guys like kusukela kudala, they've sort of like deceived abantu into thinking that Christianity and Western values, these are one, they are one and the same thing. So abantu abaningi, what they are in fact opposing, what they are in fact are rejecting, in calling it Christianity, is in fact Eurocentric Christianity, which is a stumbling block to the Africans la Africa, because the Christianity la Africa must reflect the cultural identity of the African people. But this Eurocentric Christianity is here and sort of like ifuna ukuqhubeka iloke iba namandla, iloke iba nesay ukuthi izinto kumele zenziwe kanjani. So this is a struggle like osithola all over, whether like you go to South America, you'll find this Eurocentric Christianity, this white image of Jesus, Western values, enye into ibonale lento le, like here in South Africa, in Africa we are not battling with atheists, but in the West they are. But you find people wanting to impose that context like Africa, whilst it almost does not exist. So into khona is that Eurocentric Christianity is the problem. Christianity is not the problem. Into yokuqala siyabona lapha kuNkulunkulu in Mark chapter 12 verses I think 30 to 31, sitshelo lapha about loving God and neighbor. Into yokuqala leyo, if those people who were proclaiming Christ, if those people were in fact preaching the gospel of Christ, they're going to make sure that they preach lante bhayibheleni elichoyo. If you love God, you cannot do harm to your neighbor. The fact that they did harm to the Africans, and in fact even help in the deception, the indoctrination of African, and also in fact encouraging them to even hate their culture, that was anti-Christ. That was not in accordance to the teachings of Christ. Those people were hating their neighbor, therefore that showed that they were hating God himself. You cannot love God and then hate your neighbor, and you cannot hate your neighbor and then claim to love God. So londo leyo siyayibona Mark chapter 12 verses 30 to 31, like that was a scripture there broken. The missionaries, laba bantu abakhala ngabo khona lapha, those guys whom I've quoted, of which what they are crying about, we can see it from history. And also you do see that in Isaiah chapter 1, uNkulunkulu rebukes the Israelites for not standing up against injustice and oppression. Uyabatshela, learn to do right, defend the cause of the orphan and the widow, rebuke the oppressor. This was God speaking to the Jews. And you do see that the Bible is against injustice. The Bible is against oppression. Unkulunkulu doesn't like oppression. The Bible doesn't like injustice. What took place during the missionary, summer missionaries, was injustice and oppression. And you do find people going even to their countries to recruit some countries to come and colonize a region, the person that he was preaching in. That was truly against the Bible. We also see that in Exodus 21 verses 16, iBhayibheli even warns against stealing another man. iBhayibheli lisivezela lapha ukuthi if a person is caught stealing another person, that person should die. So this slave trading thing, those people deserved to die. That was against God, that was evil, that was wicked, that was against the Bible, and that was not promoted by Christianity. In fact, the Bible is against it. The Bible is against, what happened to our brothers in West Africa. And again, slavery existed even here in Southern Africa, in the Cape and in Durban. People were stolen and beothengiswa in Mozambique, in what was called, I think, Dangolai Bay or something. So beothengiswa khona lapha in Mozambique, and by these whites who came from Europe, and then they will sell them overseas, and others were sold in Asia, to the Arabs there. So the Bible was against all those wicked activities. So now, there's the Christianity of the Bible and there's the Christianity of Europe. The Christianity of the Bible is not the problem. The Christianity of Europe, the Eurocentric Christianity, is the problem. That is the problem. That's where abantu kumele bakhalele on. But the Christianity of Christ is peaceful. The Christianity of Christ ifuna ukuthi abantu bakhuleke, ifuna iletha abantu with freedom eka Christ ukuthi ungasabopheki, and for people who call themselves Christian and then thumele bafuna ukuthi abanye abantu abangaphandle bacindezeleke babe enslaved. That was evil, and that was not promoted by the Bible. Those nations were neither Christian nations. They were just here for profits. They were just here for profits and for privileges, ukuthi baphile kamnandi at the expense of everyone else. So that was not Christianity. The Christianity of the Bible did not promote that. So I hope siyathola manje ukuthi Christianity, the Christianity of Christ, is not the problem. But this Eurocentric Christianity, that Christianity which was perverted in Europe and then imposed on others, is the problem. Therefore, I hope this helps others as they try to navigate, issues, of Nkulunkulu, Christianity, and our experience as Africans in the last 500 years. Ndizothanda ukuphela lapho ngalo mazwi lawo. I hope ayakuvula, and then abanye aba-encourage, nabanye abanama problems with regards to Christ and yonke into. I hope ushiye comment, imibuzo or anything sizokwazi ukuthi siyiphendule. Ngalo mazwi ndithi bye bye.